There has long been a close correlation between the technical advances in the automotive and the aerospace industries, but as we move to greater electrification, then the crossover is speeding up even more. When Rolls-Royce conducted its world record-breaking flight on the Spirit of Innovation last year, it was with the involvement of many other technology innovators. One of those was McLaren, famous for its Formula One motor racing cars. And we're joined now by Dr. Stephen Lambert, the head of electrification at McLaren Applied, who is very much focused on developments in the eVTOL, that's electrical vertical takeoff and landing space. Stephen, welcome. Well, the Rolls-Royce Spirit of Innovation's record has actually been ratified now as official. You must be delighted with playing the part you did in that.
Yeah, sure. So we were approached by Rolls-Royce and Electriflight and asked how we could, if we had any technology that could help them when they were starting to work out what how they would put this aeroplane together. What we realised quite quickly was there's a synergy between how you do things in motorsport and how you might want to do things in aerospace or in aviation. And then that's different from automotive. And so, for example, in automotive, you will, if you have a problem, you will want to put your vehicle safely into a stop mode and pull over and stop, and that's the aim. You can't do that in aerospace. You can't just stop things because then things tend to fall out of the ground, out of the sky into the ground. But we also have so while we do develop automotive systems, we have a very similar approach in motorsport, which is where you don't want to stop at all cost. If you stop, you're out of the race. So you want to carry on racing for as long as possible. And what we found was that, particularly when it comes to batteries and battery management systems, that ability to carry on regardless, even if you're on a car, you would say otherwise, well, let's stop. That ability to carry on regardless for as long as possible was what was found to be useful. So we provided some of our motorsport battery management system technology into Electriflight, into Rolls-Royce, and they use that. Whereas a lot of the automotive systems they were looking at had the tendency to turn the batteries off when there was an issue, meaning, of course, it wasn't necessarily safe in an aerospace application.
Okay, so you've developed this next generation silicon 800 kilowatt inverter, which is a credible option apparently for aviation powertrains and promises greater range and reduces overall vehicle weight. So how does it work and why is it important for the growing eVTOL application programs?
Yes, that's a great question. So we've had almost 10 years of developing inverters in motorsport and in automotive. And we're bringing to market in automotive a market-leading 800-volt silicon carbide inverter. The differentiation for that in automotive is it's smaller and lighter, but most importantly, it's more efficient than anything out there at the moment. We're starting to see the inverter become the key brains, the key component within that electric vehicle drivetrain. Now, when we look at aerospace, which is probably following behind automotive by, let's say, 5 to 10 years, something like that, and that's not uncommon. What we think we're going to see is that efficiency is going to become more important even quicker. Mass is a big issue in any sort of aerospace application. And again, the way to get mass down, the way to sort of get these electrified aircraft into the skies is to keep the mass down by making your powertrain more efficient. So if your powertrain loses less of the energy to heat, well, that's less energy you have to carry about, and it means it's easier to take off, easier to land, can have a bigger payload. It also means you can recharge it quicker. So where you have applications where there may need to be a quick turnaround of an aircraft, that higher efficiency means you can start recharging it quicker as well. It just starts to make the use cases for electrified air transportation that a little bit more successful, a little bit more realistic.
Well, that was Dr. Stephen Lambert from McLaren with what we know is being talked about as a real game changer. With this greater efficiency, we're going to start seeing more and more electrification coming with even hybridized larger aircraft. Electrification is going to start coming in a big way. And don't forget, you've got the GUAS, the Global Urban and Air Summit, where they're going to be talking a lot more about advanced aircraft and urban air mobility at Farnborough on February the 2nd to 3rd. Goodbye.